In the ever-churning currents of global finance, where trillions of dollars shift hands daily, and economic tides rise and fall with unpredictable force, the world's attention is often fixated on the major players. We watch the stock markets of New York and London, analyze the pronouncements from the European Central Bank, and dissect the economic policies of China and Japan. The financial news cycle is dominated by these giants, their successes and failures amplified across every screen and headline. While the world was distracted by these titans, caught up in the usual narratives of economic power, Ghana quietly pulled off an economic turnaround that stunned global experts. It was a feat of financial ingenuity, a bold experiment in economic self-reliance that challenged conventional wisdom and offered a glimmer of hope to other nations struggling under the weight of debt and economic instability. This transformation wasn't just a minor adjustment or a lucky break, it was a fundamental shift in strategy, a deliberate and calculated move away from the established norms of international finance. Just a few years ago, Ghana's CDI was in freefall, a dramatic and alarming decline that threatened to cripple the nation's economy. The currency's value plummeted against major global currencies, eroding purchasing power and fueling inflation. Businesses struggled to import essential goods, and ordinary Ghanaians watched their savings dwindle as the cost of living soared. The situation was dire, with many fearing a complete economic collapse. The once stable Cedi, a symbol of national pride, was rapidly becoming a source of anxiety and despair. The CDI's decline was further crushed by inflation and a crippling burden of debt. Inflation soared to double-digit figures, eroding the value of wages and savings. The national debt, accumulated through years of borrowing and ambitious development projects, became an albatross around the country's neck, consuming a significant portion of the national budget in interest payments. The combination of a weak currency, runaway inflation, and unsustainable debt created a perfect storm of economic hardship, leaving many Ghanaians struggling to make ends meet. Market stalls stood empty as consumers cut back on spending, and the overall mood was one of uncertainty and apprehension. The usual fix for such economic woes: IMF bailouts and strict rules. The International Monetary Fund, often seen as the lender of last resort for struggling nations, typically offers financial assistance in exchange for implementing a set of austerity measures. These measures often include cuts to government spending, tax increases, and privatization of state-owned enterprises. While intended to stabilize the economy and restore investor confidence, these policies can also lead to social unrest and economic hardship, particularly for the most vulnerable segments of the population. The IMF's involvement is often a double-edged sword, offering a lifeline while also imposing conditions that can be politically and economically challenging. But Ghana, facing this familiar crisis, chose a different path, a path less traveled, a path that defied conventional wisdom and challenged the established order of international finance. Instead of succumbing to the pressure to seek another IMF bailout, with its attendant conditions and constraints, the Ghanaian government embarked on a bold and innovative strategy, one that would ultimately reshape the nation's economic destiny. This decision was not taken lightly, but after careful consideration and extensive debate, the leadership decided to chart its own course, to forge a new path towards economic independence and prosperity. Instead of relying on foreign aid, which often comes with strings attached, and can perpetuate a cycle of dependency, the Ghanaian government looked inward, seeking to harness the nation's own resources and ingenuity to solve its economic problems. They recognized that true economic sovereignty could only be achieved through self-reliance and a commitment to developing sustainable solutions that were tailored to the specific needs and circumstances of the country. This was a conscious decision to break free from the traditional model of development, which often relies heavily on external assistance and can leave nations vulnerable to the whims of international donors. The country turned to its own gold reserves. Ghana, blessed with abundant natural resources, including significant deposits of gold, decided to leverage this valuable asset to stabilize its currency and stimulate economic growth. Gold, a precious metal that has been prized for centuries as a store of value and a hedge against inflation, became the cornerstone of Ghana's new economic strategy. The government recognized that by linking the CDI to gold, they could insulate the currency from the volatility of international markets and restore confidence in the national economy. This was a bold move, a departure from the conventional wisdom that favors floating exchange rates and reliance on foreign currency reserves. The government launched bold, gold-centered policies, designed to transform the country's economic landscape and create a more stable and prosperous future for its citizens. These policies included measures to increase gold production, refine gold domestically, and use gold reserves to back the national currency. The government also implemented regulations to encourage the use of gold in domestic transactions and to promote the development of a local gold market. These initiatives were aimed at strengthening the link between the Cedi and gold, thereby enhancing the currency's stability and credibility. Transforming the CDI from one of the world's worst currencies, a symbol of economic instability and decline, into a beacon of hope and resilience. The Cedi, once plagued by volatility and depreciation, began to experience a remarkable turnaround, defying the expectations of many analysts and observers. This transformation was a testament to the effectiveness of the government's gold-centered policies and the growing confidence in the Ghanaian economy, to its best performer by early 2025. The CDI's remarkable resurgence made it the top-performing currency in the world, a stunning achievement that captured the attention of global investors and economists alike. This success story not only boosted national pride, but also attracted foreign investment and stimulated economic growth. The transformation of the CEDI was a clear indication that Ghana's bold economic strategy was paying off, and that the country was on the path to a more stable and prosperous future. Celebrations erupted across the nation as Ghanaians rejoiced in their newfound economic success. This wasn't luck, a mere stroke of good fortune or a temporary blip on the radar. This was not a coincidence, but the result of careful planning, strategic decision-making, and an unwavering commitment to economic self-reliance. It was a strategic move that's now inspiring other developing nations. Ghana's success story has resonated deeply with other developing countries facing similar economic challenges. It has demonstrated that there is an alternative to the traditional model of development, one that emphasizes self-reliance, resourcefulness, and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. Many nations are now looking to Ghana as a model for how to achieve economic sovereignty and build a more prosperous future for their citizens. International economic conferences are buzzing with discussions about Ghana's innovative approach, and leaders from across the developing world are seeking to learn from its experience. Ghana's story challenges the old playbook, the traditional economic models and theories that have long dominated the field of international finance. It questions the assumptions that underpin these models and suggests that there may be more effective ways for developing countries to achieve economic stability and growth. The success of Ghana's gold-centered policies has forced economists and policymakers to reevaluate their thinking and to consider alternative approaches to economic development. Cut spending, the conventional wisdom that austerity measures are always necessary to restore economic stability. Ghana's experience suggests that there may be other ways to achieve fiscal discipline without resorting to drastic cuts in public spending, which can have a negative impact on social welfare and economic growth. Raise taxes, the often prescribed solution to increase government revenue. Ghana's success demonstrates that there may be alternative ways to boost government income, such as by increasing gold production and refining, and by promoting the development of a local gold market, depend on the dollar. Ghana's bold move to back its currency with gold challenges the long-held belief that developing countries must rely on the US dollar as their primary reserve currency. It suggests that there may be other ways to achieve currency stability and protect against exchange rate volatility. By backing its currency with gold, a tangible asset with intrinsic value, Ghana has taken a significant step towards economic independence and self-determination. This move has not only stabilized the CDI, but has also sent a powerful message to the world that developing countries can chart their own economic course and break free from the constraints of traditional financial models. Ghana shielded itself from the volatility, the unpredictable swings and fluctuations that can wreak havoc on emerging economies. By linking the CDI to gold, the government created a buffer against external shocks and reduced the currency's vulnerability to global market forces. That plagues many emerging economies, often leaving them vulnerable to currency crises, inflation, and economic instability. Ghana's success in mitigating these risks has made it a role model for other developing nations seeking to achieve greater economic resilience. It's a story of economic sovereignty, a nation taking control of its own financial destiny and charting its own course towards prosperity. Ghana's experience demonstrates that economic independence is not just a theoretical ideal, but a practical goal that can be achieved through bold leadership, innovative policies, and a commitment to self-reliance. An underdog nation using its own resources to rewrite the rules of the global financial system. Ghana's success is a testament to the power of innovation, determination, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. It is a story that inspires hope and demonstrates that even the smallest nations can achieve great things when they harness their own resources and pursue their own vision of economic prosperity. Ghana's success is sparking a global conversation, a debate about the future of international finance and the role of developing countries in the global economy. It is forcing economists and policymakers to reevaluate their assumptions and to consider alternative approaches to economic development. Are the old financial rules still relevant in a changing world? As the global economy becomes increasingly complex and interconnected, it is essential to question the established norms and to explore new paradigms for economic development. Ghana's success story suggests that the old rules may no longer be sufficient to address the challenges facing developing countries, and that a more innovative and self-reliant approach is needed to achieve sustainable economic growth and prosperity. The world is watching Ghana, eager to learn from its experience, and to see whether its success can be replicated in other developing nations. The heart of Ghana's strategy? The Gold for Oil program. Instead of selling gold for dollars to buy oil, Ghana traded gold directly for oil, cutting out the dollar middleman. This move slashed the country's need for US dollars, easing pressure on the Cedi and stabilizing the economy. By using gold to buy what it needed most, Ghana insulated itself from global currency shocks. The Gold for Oil plan was a declaration of economic independence, no longer letting Washington's decisions dictate Ghana's fate. Investors and citizens now had a currency backed by something real, not just government promises. This gold-backed approach fueled the Cedi's comeback, proving that sometimes the simplest ideas are the most powerful. Ghana's innovation is now a model for others seeking financial freedom. The Gold for Oil program, while innovative and impactful, was just the initial step in a much broader strategy. It represented a crucial intervention, a necessary measure to alleviate immediate pressures on Ghana's economy. But the architects of Ghana's recovery understood that lasting stability required a more comprehensive and multifaceted approach. It was a testament to their foresight that they recognized the need to build a robust foundation for sustainable economic growth, one that could withstand future shocks and ensure long-term prosperity for the nation. The Bank of Ghana, recognizing the gravity of the situation and the urgent need for systemic reform, embarked on a mission to rebuild the nation's financial health. This ambitious undertaking was not a solitary endeavor, but rather a carefully orchestrated symphony of policies and initiatives, all harmonized to achieve a common goal: economic resurgence. The central bank built its recovery on 4 key pillars, each designed to address specific vulnerabilities and unlock new opportunities for growth. These pillars were not conceived in isolation, but rather as interconnected and mutually reinforcing elements of a holistic strategy. The first pillar focused on boosting gold reserves. Recognizing gold as a stable store of value and a symbol of national wealth, the Bank of Ghana prioritized increasing its holdings of this precious metal. This strategic move was intended to provide a buffer against currency fluctuations, enhance investor confidence, and demonstrate the nation's commitment to financial stability. The accumulation of gold reserves was not merely a matter of acquiring assets. It was a deliberate effort to strengthen the foundation of Ghana's economy and insulate it from external shocks. The second pillar involved tightening monetary policy. With inflation posing a significant threat to economic stability, the Bank of Ghana took decisive action to curb rising prices. This involved raising interest rates, reducing the money supply, and implementing other measures to cool down the economy. These policies were not without their challenges, as they could potentially slow down economic growth in the short term. However, the central bank recognized that controlling inflation was essential for creating a stable and predictable environment for businesses and investors, paving the way for sustainable growth in the long run. The third pillar centered on cleaning up government finances. Recognizing that fiscal responsibility was crucial for restoring investor confidence and ensuring long-term sustainability, the government embarked on a program of fiscal consolidation. This involved reducing government spending, improving tax collection, and restructuring debt. These measures were designed to reduce the government's borrowing needs, lower interest rates, and create a more stable fiscal environment. The cleanup of government finances was not simply a matter of balancing the books, it was a commitment to responsible governance and sound economic management. The fourth pillar focused on attracting smart investment. Recognizing that foreign investment was essential for driving economic growth and creating jobs, the government actively sought to attract investors who were committed to long-term value creation. This involved creating a favorable investment climate, streamlining regulations, and promoting Ghana as an attractive destination for foreign capital. The focus was not simply on attracting any type of investment, but rather on attracting smart investment that would contribute to sustainable development and create lasting benefits for the Ghanaian people. First, the central bank bought gold from local miners, providing them with a stable market for their product and supporting the growth of the domestic gold mining industry. This initiative not only boosted the country's gold reserves but also empowered local communities and created economic opportunities for Ghanaian citizens. By prioritizing local sourcing, the Bank of Ghana demonstrated its commitment to supporting domestic industries and promoting inclusive growth. This strategy kept wealth in the country, preventing capital flight, and ensuring that the benefits of Ghana's natural resources accrued to its own citizens. Furthermore, backing the CDI with real assets, particularly gold, enhanced its credibility and stability in the eyes of international investors. This move signaled a commitment to sound monetary policy and provided a tangible foundation for the currency's value. Second, to combat the persistent threat of inflation, the central bank raised interest rates and tightened the money supply. These measures were designed to curb excessive spending and reduce the amount of money circulating in the economy, thereby putting downward pressure on prices. While these policies could have short-term consequences, such as slowing down economic growth, they were deemed necessary to restore price stability and create a more predictable environment for businesses and consumers. This decisive action sent a clear message to the international community, showing the world that Ghana meant business and was committed to taking the necessary steps to stabilize its economy. It demonstrated a willingness to make difficult choices in the pursuit of long-term financial health, and signaled a departure from past practices that had contributed to economic instability. Third, the government undertook a comprehensive effort to restructure its debt and cut wasteful spending. This involved renegotiating terms with creditors, reducing unnecessary expenditures, and improving the efficiency of government operations. By streamlining its finances, the government aimed to reduce its borrowing needs and free up resources for investments in critical areas such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. These efforts were crucial for restoring trust in its finances, signaling to investors that Ghana was committed to fiscal responsibility and sustainable debt management. A credible fiscal policy is the bedrock of investor confidence, and Ghana's actions were aimed at rebuilding that trust. Finally, Ghana strategically targeted foreign investment, focusing on sectors that create jobs and long-term value for the Ghanaian economy. This involved prioritizing investments in manufacturing, technology, and sustainable agriculture, rather than simply seeking quick profits from extractive industries. The goal was to attract investors who were committed to building lasting partnerships with Ghanaian businesses and contributing to the country's long-term development. This approach emphasized sustainable development, responsible business practices, and the transfer of knowledge and technology to Ghanaian workers. It was a deliberate effort to ensure that foreign investment benefited the entire nation, not just a select few. These four pillars were not independent initiatives but rather worked together in a synergistic manner, creating a powerful engine for economic recovery and growth. The success of each pillar depended on the success of the others, highlighting the importance of a coordinated and comprehensive approach to economic management. The increased gold reserves built confidence among investors, both domestic and international, signaling that Ghana had a solid foundation to weather economic storms. This confidence translated into increased investment and economic activity, further fueling the recovery. The tough monetary policies implemented by the central bank stabilized the currency, reducing volatility and making it easier for businesses to plan and invest. A stable currency is essential for international trade and investment, and Ghana's efforts to stabilize the CEDI were crucial for attracting foreign capital. The government's fiscal discipline reassured investors that Ghana was committed to sound economic management and would not resort to unsustainable borrowing practices. This reassurance was essential for attracting long-term investment and building a sustainable economy. The new investment, in turn, fueled economic growth, creating jobs and opportunities for Ghanaians across the country. This growth was not limited to a few sectors but was broad-based and inclusive, benefiting a wide range of industries and communities. The result of these coordinated efforts was a virtuous cycle, where each positive development reinforced the others, turning a crisis into an opportunity for sustainable growth and prosperity. This cycle demonstrated the power of sound economic policies and the importance of a long-term vision for national development. Ghana's approach to economic recovery was undoubtedly tough, requiring difficult decisions and sacrifices from all segments of society. However, the results speak for themselves: a more stable economy, increased investor confidence, and a brighter future for the Ghanaian people. The world took notice of Ghana's remarkable turnaround, recognizing the country as a model for other developing nations facing similar challenges. Ghana's success story serves as an inspiration and a testament to the power of sound economic policies, determined leadership, and the resilience of the human spirit. You'd expect applause for Ghana's turnaround, but the IMF was skeptical. They warned that Ghana's gold for oil strategy was risky and lacked transparency. For many Africans, this echoed a long history of Western institutions dictating economic policy. The IMF's usual prescription, loans with strict conditions, often deepens dependency on the dollar. Ghana flipped the script. It prioritized local resources and reduced dollar reliance. To address transparency concerns, Ghana created the independent Ghana GoldBod to oversee the gold sector and ensure fair play. This move empowered local communities and proved that innovation and transparency can go hand in hand. Ghana's model directly challenged the IMF's authority and showed that a new path is possible. The world is watching. Ghana's success is inspiring other nations. It's sparking conversations in boardrooms and government offices across the continent. Leaders are taking note, economists are analyzing the data, and citizens are beginning to dream of a future where their countries control their own destinies. The ripple effect of Ghana's bold move is undeniable, a testament to the power of innovative thinking and the courage to challenge the status quo. This isn't just about economics, it's about reclaiming sovereignty and charting a course towards genuine self-determination to rethink their own economic strategies. They're questioning the long-held assumptions about international finance and exploring alternative models that prioritize national interests. The old ways of doing things, the reliance on external aid and the acceptance of unfavorable trade agreements, are being scrutinized like never before. There's a growing sense that Africa has the potential to be a major player on the global stage, but only if it can break free from the shackles of dependency and embrace a new era of economic independence. These strategic planning sessions are crucial, as leaders grapple with the complexities of implementing similar reforms in their own unique contexts. Resource-rich countries across Africa, from the copper mines of Zambia to the oil fields of Nigeria, are particularly interested in Ghana's approach. They see the potential to leverage their natural resources not just for short-term gains, but for long-term sustainable development. The question is, how can they transform these resources into tangible benefits for their citizens, creating jobs, building infrastructure, and improving living standards? The answer, many believe, lies in adopting a similar strategy to Ghana, using their natural wealth to back their currencies and build a more resilient financial system. And Latin America, nations blessed with abundant natural resources like Brazil, Chile, and Venezuela, are also paying close attention. They face similar challenges, including dependence on commodity exports and vulnerability to global market fluctuations. Ghana's success offers a beacon of hope, a demonstration that it is possible to break free from this cycle and build a more diversified and self-sufficient economy. The lessons learned in Ghana could be invaluable for these countries as they seek to chart their own course towards economic prosperity and stability. Are eyeing Ghana's model, studying its successes and challenges, and considering how to adapt it to their own unique circumstances. Accra has become a hub of economic innovation, a place where leaders and policymakers from across the developing world come to learn and exchange ideas. The Ghanaian government is actively sharing its experiences, offering technical assistance and fostering collaboration with other nations. This spirit of cooperation is essential if the movement towards financial independence is to gain momentum and achieve lasting impact. As a blueprint for financial independence, it's a radical departure from the conventional wisdom that has dominated international finance for decades. Instead of relying on foreign aid and debt, Ghana is demonstrating the power of self-reliance and the importance of controlling one's own monetary policy. This blueprint is not without its complexities and challenges, but it offers a compelling vision of a future where developing countries are no longer beholden to the whims of global financial institutions. Central bank meetings are now filled with discussions about gold reserves, currency stability, and the potential for a new era of economic empowerment. The idea, use natural wealth to back currencies, a concept that was once considered unconventional, is now gaining traction as a viable alternative to the dollar-dominated global financial system. It's a way for countries to insulate themselves from the volatility of international markets and to build a more stable and predictable economic environment. The gold reserves become a symbol of national strength and a foundation for long-term prosperity. This is not just about economics, it's about reclaiming control over one's own destiny and build real prosperity that benefits all segments of society, not just a select few. It's about creating jobs, improving education, and providing access to healthcare for all citizens. It's about building a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and reach their full potential. The bustling markets are a testament to the growing economic activity, and the smiles on the faces of families are a reflection of the hope and optimism that is sweeping the nation. Not just export raw materials for dollars. The traditional model of extracting resources and selling them for dollars has often left developing countries vulnerable to exploitation and economic instability. Ghana is showing that there is a better way, a way to add value to its resources, to process them locally, and to use them to build a more diversified and resilient economy. This shift in mindset is crucial for achieving long-term sustainable development and breaking free from the cycle of poverty. Ghana's GoldBod ensures, through careful regulation and oversight, that the benefits of the country's gold resources are shared equitably among all stakeholders. It's a model of responsible resource management that prioritizes transparency, accountability, and sustainability. The GoldBod plays a crucial role in preventing exploitation, combating illegal mining, and ensuring that the environment is protected, that even small-scale miners benefit, providing them with access to fair prices, training, and resources. This is essential for ensuring that the benefits of the gold industry reach the grassroots level and contribute to poverty reduction and community development. By empowering small-scale miners, Ghana is creating a more inclusive and equitable economy, making growth inclusive. It's not just about increasing GDP, it's about ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to participate in and benefit from economic progress. This requires a focus on education, healthcare, and social safety nets, as well as policies that promote entrepreneurship and job creation. Inclusive growth is the key to building a more just and sustainable society. This approach offers a compelling alternative, a path towards economic independence and self-determination that is not dictated by external forces. It's a rejection of the notion that developing countries must always follow the same prescribed path, and a recognition that there are multiple ways to achieve prosperity and stability. This alternative pathway is based on the principles of self-reliance, innovation, and a commitment to national interests, to the IMF's top-down policies. For too long, developing countries have been subjected to the dictates of international financial institutions, often with detrimental consequences. Ghana's success is a challenge to this model, a demonstration that countries can chart their own course and achieve economic progress without sacrificing their sovereignty. The IMF's policies, often imposed as conditions for loans, have been criticized for their negative impact on social programs and economic growth. Ghana's golden experiment is reshaping global finance. It's forcing a re-evaluation of long-held assumptions and challenging the dominance of the dollar-based system. The world's financial centers are watching closely, as Ghana's success could inspire other countries to follow suit and create a more multipolar and equitable global financial order. The headlines are buzzing with discussions about the potential for a new era of economic empowerment for developing countries, proving that even small nations can challenge the world's financial giants. It's a David and Goliath story, a testament to the power of courage, innovation, and determination. Ghana's success is an inspiration to other developing countries, showing them that they don't have to accept the status quo and that they can forge their own path towards economic prosperity. This is a moment of profound significance in the history of global finance. The story of the Cedi is now about hope, a symbol of national pride, and a testament to the resilience of the Ghanaian people. It represents a break from the past and a commitment to a brighter future. The hopeful faces reflect the optimism that is sweeping the nation, as people begin to believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow. Sovereignty and the courage to forge a new path. It's about taking control of one's own destiny and refusing to be dictated to by external forces. The Ghanaian flag is a symbol of this newfound independence, and the new pathways represent the innovative solutions that the country is developing to address its economic challenges. This is a story of courage, resilience, and the unwavering belief in the potential of the Ghanaian people. The world is watching, with a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and perhaps even a little bit of envy. International observers are closely monitoring Ghana's progress, analyzing its successes and failures, and trying to understand the implications for the global financial system. The spotlight is on Ghana, and the pressure is on to deliver on its promise of economic prosperity and stability. Will others follow Ghana's lead? That is the question on everyone's mind. Will other African nations embrace this new model of economic independence? Or will they remain tied to the old ways of doing things? The answer to this question will have profound implications for the future of the continent and for the global financial system as a whole. The question mark hangs in the air, a symbol of the uncertainty and the potential that lies ahead. One thing's certain, the genie is out of the bottle. The idea of financial independence has taken root, and it will not be easily suppressed. The old order is being challenged, and the future of global finance is up for grabs. Finance will never be the same. The world is on the cusp of a new era, an era of greater economic equality and self-determination for developing countries. Ghana's golden experiment is just the beginning, and the possibilities are endless. The financial transformation has begun, and there's no turning back.